Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar, Revolutionizing Retail, Master Social Driven Shopping, and Boost Customer Engagement. I'm Bam, Product Marketing Manager at Social Plus, and I'm here with Italo, our Senior Solution Engineer today.
Hi, Bam. Hi, everyone. Nice to be here with you.
Awesome. So in this session, we'll cover the current state of commerce, the shift from intentional to always on shopping. Then we'll explore strategies for a social first shopping experience and then a live demo to see it all in action. And before we dive into the current state of commerce, I actually have a quick question for everyone here. And that is, how often do you shop based on something you saw on social media? Italo, how's that for you, shopping on social media?
Well, I think nowadays is something pretty common, or maybe something that is sometimes unconscious because usually when I see something in social media, then suddenly an ad appear or something that I didn't think about it, but then I I see it and say, "Hey, this looks cool," and then immediately it redirects me into the website, and eventually I end up buying it or getting something similar, or then planning to have it soon. So yeah, I would say that indirectly seeing stuff that might not be something I'm looking for right now, but are related to what I'm looking is something that's part of social media right now for me.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think the many things I've bought so far this year has come from social media, and it's not from, the products that I've been planning to buy. And what's really cool is that I actually attended a birthday party last weekend, and my friend just sent me a link to like a TikTok shopping link. So I think that was really cool as well to see that in action. And you know, uh, so after hearing that, I think it's quite clear that social media is becoming a big part of how we shop today, and social commerce is really taking off. What was once a place to, catch up with friends or scroll through memes is now a key player in the shopping experience. From Instagram ads to TikTok trends, social media platforms are now an everyday tool for discovering products and making purchases. And almost all of the top social media players are capturing this space, pushing out commerce features like TikTok shopping, YouTube shopping, and Instagram. So it's not just about scrolling anymore, it's about shopping seamlessly within the apps we already use. And this isn't just a passing trend as well, it's a major shift in, the retail game. And social commerce is expected to reach $6.2 trillion by 2030. And that's a huge number. And that just really highlights just how social media is becoming synonymous with shopping. And as more people shop directly through platforms like Instagram and TikTok, brands are jumping in to make sure they're a part of this growing space. So, what do you think of this? What do you think is driving this massive growth, Ilo?
So, in general, I think that one of the key factors that's affecting, in general, the current times is how technology is part of everything, especially social media. We're connected easily through a phone, and also you can connect processes easily. So before you had to go to store to get something, or if you wanted to buy something, now you can just see directly on the feed, and eventually, if it's interesting to you, you get redirected to the purchase page. You just get it into your shopping cart, and then payment method, and that's it. And you will have it in 2 or 3 days into your place, which is something pretty fast and pretty, let's say, easy to do. So we can say that this is part of having also people with this type of mindset, and that we are used to that type of environment now. I will also complement with the idea that right now this social media sector is becoming also a recommendation, let's say, our best source of knowing if something works or not. and I just wanted to mention it based on what you were mentioning in the previous slide, because nowadays sometimes when I want to buy something or when I'm looking for something, especially in places that I don't know or something like that, instead of looking for it in Google, I might look it in TikTok, because I'll see the different resources or reels or things that appear saying, or even for a shop. I want to go to buy something, but I'm not sure about this shop, not so sure if the products are good. Then you go to TikTok and then you'll see the different experience, and then you go there, or you can order directly into the retailer and, well, get this social commerce. Those are some of the key things I think that nowadays is more getting into us, and it's also unconscious, and that's why we're seeing this growth and will continue to grow.
Yeah, and it's so natural, like you said now. And with that, like we'll have to say or conclude that shopping is no longer something you have to go and do. Instead, it's, shifting from very intentional actions to more passive ambient behaviors. It's something becoming something that people are doing all the time, like you said, often without even realizing it. So if you really think about it, you're scrolling through Instagram or watching Reels or Netflix, and chances are you're also shopping and discovering new products almost all at the same time when you're on your phone, or as we know today, doom scrolling. And today, like nearly 7 in 10 shoppers admit that to making purchases while multitasking. And this shift in how we shop is known as ambient shopping, and it's really starting to take off. With ambient shopping, products show up right where shoppers are and seamlessly integrate into our daily browsing. So you could be scrolling through Instagram and suddenly find yourself browsing a brand's collection, or maybe you're watching an unboxing video with a friend and decide to click the buy now button on something that just catches your eyes. And it's a shift from intentional shopping, where you used to first, like you said, search for products, compare your options, and make a decision, to always on shopping, where discovery just happens so naturally as you scroll, watch, and engage. But also, as a side note, like intentional shopping isn't going anywhere as well. Like around 59% of people still browse online before buying in store, and that's something we call web grooming. So what's the key takeaway from this? I think with ambient shopping, it's all about being where shoppers already are, grabbing their attention in ways that feel natural and seamless. It's about tapping into trends and behaviors and touch points to let shoppers discover new products without interrupting their experiences. And Ilo, do you have anything to add on to this ambient or
No, I
shopping?
agree totally. I think that one keyword here is that it's becoming natural. It's something that happens on the go. You do not need to do much. It's just your typical used to or day to day case. You are taking some time, and while you're scrolling, looking around, then you'll see opportunities about something that you would like to go is eventually to see into a store, or maybe that you would like to purchase and go directly and follow the path and go to the yes, I want to buy it, and then add it to the shopping cart.
Yeah, and it's so like integrated into our everyday lives now, and brands kind of have to take that further step to understand their consumer engagement and learn their behavior, right? And it's safe to say that the common denominator here is connectivity, since it's the heartbeat of consumer buying decision. So people today are investing in experiences, so brands kind of have to keep up with that and offer the experience to meet the same expectation in the digital world, by focusing on hyper personalization and driving that one-on-one experiences will be really the key winning point here. And consumers today are also taking a wait and see approach before buying. They're crowdsourcing information from friends, influencers, and trusted sources. So it's no longer just about getting the best deal, it's about connecting with brands on a deeper, more human to human level. And this has led to a shift from transactional shopping to relational shopping as well, where consumers want more personalized, social driven experiences.
Yes,
Mhm.
totally. I also sense that this is something more personalized, and this type of experience also based on the user engagement and relying on user connectivity, because it's the same users that help you see if a product is good. And also something that's very common and sometimes may seem like something not so interesting is this type of unboxing stuff and so on. It's also part of what we see, and it also puts in our mind certain brands, and then the action of, oh, I would like to have also something like that. So all of that comes from different user agents, which in the end are people, and you are relying on people to have this type of experience, this type of relationship, which eventually will help you get this product or get this brand exposed to you.
Yeah, like that makes a lot of sense. And with UGC and reviews as well, like that has also become a huge part, right, in decision making. Because like people, trust real experiences over polished brand messaging now. And when you think about it, like that's why social commerce is so powerful. It's built on that sense of community and shared experiences. It's not just about brands talking at consumers anymore. It's about consumers influencing each other.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree again with you. And for example, one use case from my
Mhm.
life, when I was traveling with my family and we were looking for a place to eat. And usually, if you try to Google about places around there, you'll see many places, but you do not see exactly the recommendations. So one of the things that I learned is I just guide from Google reviews. When you put in the Google Maps, you'll put for restaurants in there that you're taking, and then you'll see the different restaurants that are around, and you'll see the stars and the comments. So maybe you'll see a 5-star restaurant, but only with one comment. So I know that that's not very objective. But we found one restaurant that was like 4.5 stars with almost 200 comments. And we went there, and it was a great choice, and we only guided ourselves from this type of references and not looking for anything else, not for a website, only the comments in Google Maps about that particular place, and it worked. This is just an example of what can be done, and imagine having a social environment devoted for that.
Yeah, and like those review, like it's coming, even though we might not know the exact person who's reviewing it, it's about like that sense of community and how people are like just openly sharing that their experiences as well. So yeah, I that's a really cool example actually. Yeah. And as we think about this, let's take a look at the consumer journey. And with ambient shopping, it's becoming quite fluid and constantly evolving and often non-intentional at all. And shoppers like move through phases of discovery, consideration, and even decision making all at once or in one seamless experience. They may discover a new product through a quick scroll on TikTok, consider it after reading user reviews, or watching an influencer's video and make the decision to buy with a single click. So it's crucial to show up on all touch points, especially in the discovery and consideration phase. And capturing attention in the discovery phase could come with a hyper personalization activity feed like a For You or Explore pages based on user preferences and behaviors. And brands could also tap into these pages with sponsored content, influencer partnerships to stay ahead of the game as well. And when shoppers reach the consideration phase, they're not necessarily comparing dozens of options anymore. Instead, they're making decisions based on what resonates with them in the moment. So having the space for, influencer videos, live events, and reviews could drive them to the purchasing stage. And one of the biggest shift we've seen is the demand for authenticity as well. And consumers crave brands that they can connect with, not just in terms of products, but in terms of values. So they want transparency, honesty, and real connections. This is why providing the space for consumers to connect at a community level, having that review and user generated content could become a very important part of in driving that decision. And with that, like it'll you can show you in the it'll can show you in the demo section how this all comes to life with our UI kit.
Yes, sure. Let me share my screen.
Mhm.
So first, I'll go to what we call our portal. We'll start from scratch. So technically, once you contact our sales team, you will be able to have access to our portal account. In the portal account, you will have the option to create an application. As you might imagine, all this social information needs to be stored somewhere. In this case, it's going to be stored on our site as we work with AWS so that this information can be rendered easily from our APIs, SDK, and so on. Once you have access to this, you will be able to create an application. As you can see, you can put and select the different type of features that you want to use. Once you select them, let's imagine I create right now one application. Let's do it like this. We put this one video, we can add it later. There's no problem with that. And I can put it as test case. I can select a server region based on where I'm going to, or my users are going to be located. So in my case, I will put Europe, and then I put next, so that the application gets created. Once the application gets created, you will have an API key. The API key, technically, as its name says, is the one in charge of recognizing that that application is the one that's going to be authenticated for that environment. Here you will see the options for UIKit, SDK, if that's the case. And in the case of UIKit, you will have some similar, or let's say some specific cases of how to implement them directly so that you can test them out and see the functionalities that we already have available in these UI kits. Please consider these UI kits are like a vanilla template. They are predefined, almost ready to go. They are open source, so you can do changes. However, there might be some features that we do have in the SDK, but we haven't yet implemented in the UI kit. So you can do it on your own as part of complementary customizations if that's the case. These are some of the details of the code and so on. Once we have this ready, I can put I've installed the UI kit, and then this one will take me directly to the console. The console will be this tab, as you can see. Here you'll see a playground, which is just how the UI on the mobile perspective will look if you decide to use our UI kit as default and implement it directly into your application. Pretty straightforward. You will be able to see the different things that you can handle within the app. This is for the chats from the users, for managing communities or groups, in this case, based on feeds, for stories, posted comments, ads, and so on. So you will have all this set of tools that are related to that app instance. And as I mentioned before, you'll have an API key. This API key again can be found in the part of integrations. And once you have that one, you can go directly into our GitHub repository, for instance. Let me show it here. So for example, this one is our GitHub repository for Android UI kit open source. This is the latest version. You can directly fork it, or if you want, you can download it. It depends on your use case. Usually for doing some tests, you can download it, or if you want, you can fork it and then customize and then implement into your application once you're ready. But in my case, for example, I already downloaded the latest version, and based on that, I will run it in a simulator, which would be Android Studio. For that case, let me now share my whole screen so that I can share the whole image of my simulator. As you can see here, I'm using Android Studio. And as you can see here from recent projects, this is what I downloaded, one of the versions of the UI kit. Once you download it and install it directly, you will be able to see this interface once you run it. Here, you're able to change the environment to add the API key and the server region. Here, I'm going to use one live, uh, let's say, environment I use for demo purposes, so I cannot show the API key just for security purposes. However, let's imagine that you're using the API key that we just generated as new one, and you don't have a user. You just put the display name here and the username here. As you can see, I'm doing something pretty simple. If you want, you can add anything else. If the user do not exist, it will be created immediately by logging in. If the user don't exist, it will be created, and if the user does exist, sorry, it will just log in directly. So in this case, I will try to log in. 1 second. I will submit and then, okay. So as you can see here, you have the option to select between two teams, the first and the second one. If I select the first one, I will have different tabs about different type of UI components that you can select and use. And let's go to the test before newsfeed. Here, this environment has already been sort of customized with content relevant to the automotive industry. And we could say it can be linked to the retail or social e-commerce style, because here we are like generating content that's relevant based on cars. So maybe the users might be interested in seeing some cars. So first of all, you can see that we have this type of featured post. This one is called a sponsored post, and this one is something that you can select from the console, and this will be visible in the global newsfeed of each user as they start to scroll. Then they will see the content from the different communities they are following. As you can see, the communities or groups that were created are based on a product or a car product in this case, so that they can compare or see the different, let's say, references, cases, recommendations from other users, the comments about what might be happening or what's something that they didn't like, and so on. Really similar to having one product or different products into an environment. Now, from this global newsfeed, which is based on the users you're following and the communities you're joining, you can also go to see other communities or groups that you would like to see or join. Again, it's based on cars. You can base it on products if that's the case, for example. And now let's imagine if I go into the community for this one. We have a different type of featured content, which you can also select from our console, the one I showed before, and you can say, okay, I want this post to be the first one. Maybe it's a campaign, maybe it's something that's very relevant with high appreciation, very high engagement, and nice comments. So I can put it on top so that everybody can see it. And then you will go to the normal feed. You can continue to scroll and see the usual, but also, sorry, okay, but also you have the ability to see pin post. Pin posts are posts that you select again from the console, and you can pin them directly here, so that besides the normal feed that you have, you can only see the pin posts that the moderators decided users to be able to see as something quick. This is one example here. Then if we go, for example, to Honda Civic one, we'll see another type of featured post, and then we'll see different pin posts here. For this case, this one with this nice view and location and with the comments, and the same way you can add other pin posts there so that it's easier for your users to see something relevant that might be interesting. At the same time, if we go here, we have what we call ads. So you are able to put from our console certain ads after a certain amount of posts, certain amount of comments, so that the user can see the potential product or service and then directly see, okay, might be interesting. And then you'll have the talk to sales button in this case, which we already put from the console, and it will redirect your user into the link that you already added in the console. As you can see, the path that we were mentioning, that you like something, okay, maybe it would be a good idea for me to go there, give it a look, and then maybe end in a purchase. Really simple. And that's part of what social media connected with this type of technology helps you achieve. These are some of the things that we do provide and you can have. And besides these, you are able to customize the UI kit as I'm mentioning here, as it is open source. You can change the style. You can focus maybe to want to do some checkpoints or check marks for certain users so that they can have like an influencer badge. Maybe they are a recognized user, things like that, so that it can go with the use case that you would like to portray, and also adapt to maybe potential recommendations, or even having the ability to create polls so that you can get some feedback about certain content. And on our case, we also have AI technology that helps you see how's the sentiment analysis regarding the relevant topics that your users are having, so that you can take better decisions and also see potential strategies to improve your, let's say, use case, or in this case, if it's about retailers or e-commerce, how to improve your business. I would say that's everything for this short demo.
Wow, thank you, Italo. I think that was a really great walkthrough. There are so many features that could be implemented in, a retail like or an e-commerce like app if you're looking to add that shopping experience into a social space. And hopefully this also gives all of you guys a clear picture of how this could help create a more authentic and engaging shopping experience. And at the end of the day, like it's all about meeting consumers where they are, whether it's through sponsored content or providing that space for everyone to post about their experiences, about the products that they like. And yeah, and I think that's it for our webinar today. Let us know if you have any question. Feel free to drop it in the chat box here or reach out directly to us after the webinar as well. So let's see if we have any question today. Let's give it a few minutes. Okay, so it seems like everyone here is clear on everything. So, well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. And like I said, if you have any question or want to dive deeper into how this can work for your brand, feel free to reach out. And yeah, thank you so much, Ilo, for joining me today and for sharing all those insights and the demo as well. I'll see you
Thank
next
you
week.
very much.
Thank
Thanks, ma'am.